Hi, welcome to The Shed. In this episode, we're going to talk about syncopated 16th note rhythms. In one beat of music, there are only 3 syncopated rhythms for 16th notes. The first is 16th, 8th, 16th. This is sight rhythm C for 16th notes. 16th, 8th, 16th. The second is dotted 8th, 16th. This is sight rhythm F. And the last one is 8th dotted 16th, the opposite of F. This is sight rhythm G. Okay, so let's look at this first one. We have a 16th note and an 8th note and a 16th note. I told you that this exists over one beat of music. So one beat using 16th note subdivisions is 1 E and A. To figure out how many 16th subdivisions a note gets, a note or rest, ask yourself how many 16th notes would exist in that space. So our first note is a 16th note. So how many 16th notes do you need to add up to a 16th note? It's 1. So this is 1. Then we have an 8th note. You can tell it's an 8th note because it only has one beam. We have a 16th note here, it has 2 beams. This 8th note has 1 beam. So how many 16th notes go into an 8th note? There's 2. So the next 2 16th subdivisions are E and. Now we have another 16th note here. The last 16th note subdivision is A. If I was to do my circles, this first one would be 1. This would be E and the last one would be A. This rhythm right here, a dotted 8th note. A dot adds half of the original value to a note. An 8th note receives 1/2 a count. So half of a half is a quarter. 1/4 plus a half is 3/4. This receives 3/4 of a beat. How many 16th notes equals 3/4 of a beat? Each 16th note is 1/4 of a beat. So it receives 3 16th subdivisions. So this one would be 1 E and. We have a 16th note here. It receives 1 16th subdivision. It would be A. So I have 1 E and then A. Now this is the exact opposite. In sight rhythm G, the first note is a 16th note, so it receives 1 16th subdivision. This is a dotted 8th note. It receives 3 16th subdivisions, E and A, and a circle. Now if I was to clap these separately, get your foot tapping, I'll go nice and slow. So 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1 E and A. That's that first one, 1 E and A. The second one, 1 E and A. And this one is 1 E and A. Syncopated 16th notes.